What's up YouTube? How goes it? Today we're having a look at another popular mid-range laptop. I love covering laptops on this channel that people can actually afford as opposed to the lavish $3,000-$4,000 things that go out there that most people cannot afford. Which is exactly why I'm covering the ever so popular Asus Vivobook 15. This one has been requested frequently, and the one we have here today is rocking the latest AMD specification. So this bad boy right here has the latest Ryzen 7 5700U processor, 16 gigabytes of RAM, AMD Radeon graphics. It has a 1TB hard drive and a PCIe 256 GB solid state drive. Additionally, we do have the latest Wi-Fi 6 as well as Bluetooth 5.0 standards. And lastly, this is a 15-inch Full HD screen. We're going to do a detailed review as always, keep it as objective as possible to see if this laptop might be worth your hard-earned cash, where it shines, and where it might have dropped the ball. As always, if you guys enjoy this review and my content in general, hit that like button, consider subbing to my channel. I promise we've got a world of great content. Thanks for watching. Let's go. Starting off with a real quick unboxing, the first thing you're going to notice is that it comes in a standard looking cardboard box. At least Asus tried to put some fancy V-lines, so D- for creativity, better than a lot of the others. With that being said, as soon as you open the actual box itself, the first thing you see is our guest star, the Asus Vivobook inside some protective wrapping. Once you remove that, here it is with some fancy specs stickered on. More on that later though. Beyond that, you also have a instruction manual, quick start guide, warranty information, and serial details as well. Give that a quick read. Beyond that, you have a envelope, and inside here you have a bunch, and I do mean a bunch of stickers. Really cool stuff. I love how Asus includes this. Finally, you have a 2-in-1 charging adapter. This is a 65-port charging adapter, and as you can see, the whole body is combined in one. Unfortunately, it is proprietary. It would have been nice to include a USB-C charger, but oh well. Moving on to design, the Asus Vivobook is definitely a hefty laptop. At 4 pounds, this is again fairly heavy, even for a 15-inch machine. If you are planning this for all day carry around, keep that in mind. However, the build quality of this machine is decent. Starting off with the top side, you have a nice metallic textureless finish, and I really like it because it looks like that Asus took a note from Lenovo's book in trying to make a subtle reserve laptop. You do have the Asus Vivobook branding on the right mid corner, which again looks really nice in my opinion. I/O port diversity on this laptop is very much respectable. So on one side you have 2 USB 3.0 ports, you have the battery charging indicator light. As you make your way to the other side of the laptop, you're going to notice you have that proprietary DC port. Beyond that, you have a full-sized HDMI port, another USB 3.0 port, you also have a USB-C port, and finally the headphone jack. Oh, and you do of course get a micro SD card reader. Not bad. Making our way to the bottom of the laptop, it looks exactly how I'd expect it to. It's made of your standard hard TPU material. You have a rather small air intake grill that is linear in nature, a couple of rubber grips to keep the laptop in place, and you'll also notice on either corner of the machine you do have 2 speaker grills. Yes, this is a stereo speaker setup and it's a bottom firing laptop. We'll do a brief sound test later on in the video, so stay tuned for that. As soon as you unfold this laptop, the first thing you'll notice is the ample amount of palm rest space which you'd expect with a 15-inch laptop. Unfortunately, the trackpad is skewed towards the left side, which I really don't like in laptops. Of course, with that said, the trackpad itself in terms of its overall quality, it's okay. So you do have a nice glass surface finish, the clicks are relatively tactile. Oh, and you also have a built-in fingerprint scanner towards the top right corner. Now the calibration on this trackpad is definitely poorly done because often I found that clicks don't register if you're too far from the left or right corner, and on the rarest of occasions I even found that sometimes when you're browsing to the trackpad, it actually skips that movement and the cursor doesn't move. So yeah, Asus really thought hard where they could cut corners, and unfortunately they landed on the keyboard. So the keyboard here is seriously disappointing. You have very little key travel. Seriously, it ends before it even starts. On top of that, the keys feel cheap and finicky and loose. Keycaps feel like they're wobbling every now and then, and on top of that, when you actually use it, it's a very displeasurable experience to type on this keyboard. To make matters worse, there is no backlighting on a mid-range laptop like this. Honestly, Asus, what were you thinking? Thankfully, you do have a full-size 10 keypad, and also the keys actually have a reasonable amount of surface area, so at least you won't be making typos while you suffer typing on this keyboard. count your blessings. On the other hand, the hinge quality on this laptop is pretty decent. So you do have a single tier hinge system, but it doesn't wobble, it stays in position, and it's sturdy and designed to last. So good job, Asus. Now, in terms of display fitting, you have a mid-sized chin, you have what I consider to be relatively narrow bezels, more or less in line with 2021 standards. You also do have a forehead which encompasses a 720p mediocre webcam, but honestly, it's not the worst I've seen. I just wouldn't use it if you're trying to win any awards for a beauty contest. This is the part normally where I get really excited and tell you how impressed I am with the display on this laptop, is what I would like to say right now. But unfortunately, over here you have what I consider to be, again, a pretty mediocre display. So you start off with a respectable Full HD or 1080p resolution, 60Hz refresh rate. This is a anti-glare screen. Good stuff so far. However, you only have a color accuracy rating of 45% NTSC or approximately 56% sRGB. If you are a creative user, colors look bland, they look low in terms of their quality, and I would not advise this laptop for those kind of activities. But perhaps the biggest disappointment here is the peak brightness of just 250 nits. This honestly is not enough for most outdoor settings, and even with the anti-glare screen, in a brightly lit indoor room, you still find the brightness towards the shorter side, which honestly is a bit of a letdown in my opinion. In terms of performance, on paper, this is a relatively powerful laptop. I mean, it is rocking the latest Ryzen 7 5700U processor after all, and it shows. Any day-to-day tasks like web browsing, watching videos, doing some productivity activities are super smooth on this laptop. Even when you really push this laptop to its limit by, let's say, doing 4K video editing, for example, you'll find there's little to no frame drop for the most part. You can edit multiple layers, and this laptop holds its ground. I really find having that 16 gigabytes helps a ton because it makes it a little bit easier to render stuff and also do real-time editing. In terms of the gaming department, this laptop again holds its ground for casual gaming, so you can run games like Fortnite or GTA 5 at low to medium settings with a healthy 30 plus FPS. However, I still find compared to Intel's Iris Xe chip, the Radeon graphics still fall slightly behind as you get visibly more FPS with that chipset. In terms of thermals, I generally found this laptop to be on the cooler side of things. So under peak load, I found you can hit an average surface temperature of about 44 degrees Celsius, which really isn't that bad, but a more realistic sustained load will hit you around the 38 to 39 degrees Celsius mark, and under idle loads, this laptop easily drops all the way down to 24 to 23 degrees Celsius. So while not the coolest laptop, generally speaking, its heavy loads aren't as hot as some other laptops out there. Fan noise is also very nice. For a laptop that can hit all the way to 44 degrees Celsius, the fan really doesn't go off all that often and spends more time in idle than you'd expect. Battery life on this laptop is pretty nice, all things considered. So if you're using this laptop at 50% brightness while doing stuff like web browsing or light activities, you can get all the way up to 13.5 hours on a single charge. Now, if you start doing more intensive activities like video editing or even watching full HD videos, that can very quickly drop in the neighborhood of around 8.5 hours, which again isn't all that bad. This is a bottom-firing stereo speaker setup, and sound quality is decent. While I wouldn't say it's the loudest nor the most clear or crisp, it's not bad either. Have a quick listen for yourself.
Gotta live static, gotta get at it, never pragmatic, cause we live tragic. I can't live average, to be alive's magic. Turn it up in the back cause I'm grabbing everything I want, get in my way and I'm stabbing. I'll be moving crowds till I'm 6 feet napping. They need another fix, hooked on like an addict. I got my eyes on the prize and it's changing lives. I wanna live till I die, make a difference, right? I wanna give those in need a reason to fight. I wanna live every day.
So here's the verdict. Priced at approximately $720 USD, this is definitely a mid-range laptop by all boundaries. With that said, the Asus Vivobook definitely is a mixed bag. It does great in some areas. For example, it has a respectable external build quality. It has some of the best I/O port diversity I've seen on recent mid-range laptops. It also has respectable performance and a decent sounding sound system and fantastic all-day battery life. Unfortunately, some of the things holding it back include its rather lackluster display with only a 56% sRGB rating. Also, the biggest letdown with this laptop by far is its cheap keyboard. There's no backlighting and there's no excuse for that, and the flimsy and finickiness of the keyboard again is just really poorly done. Asus tried to cut some visible corners and it shows. Overall, despite all this, I still think this laptop is a good deal at the price it's at, and I know this laptop goes on sale fairly frequently, so if you can get it at an even lower clearance price, honestly, you may have hit the jackpot, as long as, again, you're okay with a flimsy keyboard and a rather mediocre display. All in all, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, hit that like button, sub to my channel. We got all sorts of awesome content. Thank you so much for helping this channel grow. You guys are awesome. Have a good one. See ya.